Hello and welcome to the next step in the Marvel Cinematic Universe, still in Phase 2 with Captain America, the Winter Soldier.
Oh
So,
boy.
so, it, Steve has managed to find apparently it's put thanks to the Avengers, in his new time that he's in. But what if the past hasn't finished catching up with him? This movie is also serves to pretty much consolidate a lot of things, like expanding a bit more the character of Black Widow, introducing stuff like character Falcon, but it will also introduce a couple of retcons. Some some people seem like some of them, others do not. I can tell more, but we can just start the movie. Start before the Marvel Studios logo, the black screen right before it. In 3, 2, 1, click.
Okay, audience, let's just say I've been looking forward to this movie because, well, okay, we generally agree this is a good movie. But it is not a movie invulnerable to criticism or being made fun the hell of, especially regarding certain events that happened in Phase 3. I'll just say it like this. This is literally the opposite of how I feel for Iron Man 3. Whereas I found Iron Man 3 a bad movie with some good qualities here and there, I find this one a good movie overall, but it has a lot of jarring flaws here. And I'll say this.
Okay,
I like this movie mainly for a lot of the character actions and, well, the action itself. The story has some issues here and there.
alright, so this
Whoop.
movie was directed
Gotta go
this
faster.
time.
Also, this
So
is where the meme on your left began, by the way.
so
Yes,
uh,
please
this,
go ahead.
so this movie was directed by this
The
time
Russo brothers.
by Anthony and Joe Russo, who at this point were mostly famous for sitcoms.
Oh, yes. In fact, a bit of a fun fact, they got their big start with Community. Roy, I believe you are familiar with the show Community, are you not?
Yes.
So
There are a lot of community cameos in the MCU.
Yep, and it
also,
starts with this movie.
And also
Huh.
the film has the returning screenwriters from the previous movie, i.e., in both the sense of Captain America and the film that came out before this one,
For the
Christopher
Dark
Marcus
World,
and Stephen McFeely.
who, let's just say, are on a road for redemption after.
Yeah, basically, I like to imagine that Marcus and McFeely wrote For the Dark World while they were sleepwalking, woke up, realized what they'd done, but it was too late to change anything, so they had to try and make amends.
And you know what? For as much as I am going to tease the hell out of this movie, this is still a hell of a step up from For the Dark World. I mean, granted, it's nigh impossible to do worse than that movie, but this one is good. That said, like I said in my bit about Phase 2, I don't find this to be a better movie than Captain America First Avenger.
Budget was 177 million dollars. Box office was 714.4. So still a success, but probably not as big as the previous movie. Surprisingly.
Yeah. Okay, one thing I should mention about the list Captain America has. The list changes depending on what country you're watching in.
Yeah. Yeah, it actually has one specifically for my country.
Hey,
But
ATO.
Hold on, yes, sir?
Knowing what happens later, boy is it lucky that Steve got to know this guy in particular.
Yeah, I know, right?
Like, okay,
So, who
here's
is this guy for the benefit of those who forgot?
I will say the actor. Give me a second.
Okay. Also, I'm just gonna say this right now. Scarlett Johansson looks phenomenally different in this movie than she ever does as Black Widow before. This
also starts the trend of Black Widow changing haircut for every movie.
And love interest as well. But seriously, when I first saw this movie, I thought, did they replace Scarlett Johansson? Like, again, did she get, like, a tan or something for this movie? Because she never looks this dark in any other movies.
Okay, one thing that I've noticed, the subtitles... Okay, the subtitles that you can turn on Disney Plus say Indian Ocean, even though it already says so in. So.
Yeah, it does happen already in the past with some stuff. Anyway, the actor of that character we saw before is Anthony Mackie.
Oh, love him, but yes, the character he plays is Sam Wilson. And that's all I'll call him for now.
Oh, George Batroc. This introduces one of my, not for the MCU, but one of my favorite minor villains from the comic, Batroc the Lipper. It's a, get this here, he's a French supervillain that has literally no power, he's just a bit agile, and constantly gets punched in the face.
Anyway, so the
So
person...
he's just an angry French guy.
But get this, he actually managed to become a decent character when he became the actual mentor and tutor of Gwenpool. So that was also pretty cool.
Who's Gwenpool? Well, long story short...
It's a very long story.
Okay, so go on.
Okay, so essentially, the person who's been kidnapped is a character who you may remember from previous movies. Jasper Sitwell here. You may remember him. He was like the main star of that short that came after the Avengers, and he has shown up prominently in the MCU, including Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D.
Yeah, this is basically also the movie that answers the big question that has been posed about, why we can't just call the Avengers every 2 seconds, and especially as a sort of a tie-in to Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D., which at the time had become very popular, the series, that starred Agent Coulson.
Okay,
Also,
if there's one thing I can say against this movie, it is the music. Music's from
Yeah.
Henry Jackman, who normally does very good work. This time in this movie he's just a second bit Hans Zimmer impersonator.
So here's the thing. Unlike For the Dark World, the composer for this movie actually does do the kind of soundtracks that this movie would call for, so what happened?
Also, pay attention to Cap's movement, not necessarily in this initial sequence, but in general, because, like we mentioned in the video game Super Soldier, Chris Evans was a big fan of it, and he reincorporated some of the, movement that got used for that video game for this movie.
Kudos.
I mean, he was in the game, so...
True, but again, he didn't do mocap, if I recall correctly, just voiced the character, but he liked the way what they did with the, with the choreography of the fight in
Also,
that.
I'll give
Yes,
this movie this. You may notice how Steve is a lot more reckless, per se, almost to the point of being a death seeker here. There's actually kind of a method to that madness.
Mind. If there's one thing about this, another thing that I'm really a fan of. Don't worry, I'm not going to spend the whole bitching. Is some of the camera work for the fights.
I can see that. Lots of cuts and lots of fast movements.
Again, it's like I said, I do like this movie, but unlike First Avenger, it unfortunately falls into a lot of the trappings that, well, you would hope a movie like this wouldn't fall into. The camera work.
The shaking also does not help.
Oh, Shiri, just be glad we're not doing yet the 1990 Captain America movie. That one has so many cuts.
Now, the Russos would get over this, but I noticed they only got over it after the halfway point of Civil War.
Oh, Civil War. Okay, I'm gonna say this right now. For as much as I like Captain America, I do feel like his movies kind of got weaker with each sequel here. Now, Winter Soldier, it's not too bad, but Civil War is a movie that I've noticed that the more time passes, the more people are starting to notice the problems with it. And I'm no different.
Hello.
And that's something I actually believe you agree with me on, Dwibs.
Yeah, I know.
Oh, I forgot to mention. Much like with For the Dark World, I didn't saw this in theaters. Like I mentioned, after Iron Man 3 was burned out, so I skipped this one too. When I actually caught up onto it, I thought it was okay. Again, I'm not the biggest camp fan in the first place, so it was just a matter of not being really interested into this. But I think it's fine on its own.
Interesting point. From this film onwards, I never missed an MCU.
Okay, so might as well bring up one of the main criticisms people have about this movie, starting with, well, Black Widow herself here. Let me just get to this here. Yeah, one of the things people were split on was essentially that they brought on Black Widow here and there, which, is fine and all that stuff. However, people thought that it sort of took,
Sorry, go on.
Unfortunately, her involvement kind of effectively subsumed the role of Agent 13. Who's Agent 13? Well, Agent 13 is one of the more regular supporting cast members of Captain America, essentially.
Okay, one thing I can say is that, I guess they wanted to avoid the issue by introducing new characters bloating out the universe. So
That's
just
the
have those.
That's the thing, Dwebs. They introduced Sharon Carter later on anyway, so why not just have a Sharon Carter here?
We'd have to wait for Civil.
Yeah, and then she would pretty much be forgotten after that. Like I said.
I swear, isn't she in a Disney Plus show?
None that
I don't know.
have seen so far. Maybe she'll show up in...
I think she's being casted for the Falcon and Winter Soldier Disney Plus series. I think there's that.
Possibly, but no telling so far. Which is weird because they definitely had a love thing going between her and Cap, but... Well, yeah, we'll talk about that later.
Okay, and also, don't worry, I'm not going to be.
Shot.
I'm not going to be constantly moaning about the soundtrack. In terms of bad movie soundtracks, this one actually ranks pretty low.
Here's a good question, though.
I mean,
What?
It's not like it's a certain Bond movie.
What exactly was going through Henry Jackman's head? Because, like I said, he's done soundtracks for movies like these, but better before. So,
surprise! Pizza delivery.
Again, it's like he wanted to be Hans Zimmer.
I mean, even
Let me
Hans
check
Zimmer
who
can
plays
do better.
Batroc Zeliper.
Doop. Careful, Cap.
Sorry,
You could have
can you
beheaded
bring it
somebody.
Georges Saint Pierre. There you go.
Yeah, when I first saw this bit, I thought that guy leading out the hostages was gonna betray them, and I thought he was gonna have a slip of the tongue and say hostages en route to extraction.
There we go. Georges Saint Pierre doesn't really have that much of a filmography, but this movie is the core part of it, and he's returning for the Falcon and Winter Soldier TV series. So there's that.
So has it been confirmed that Sharon Carter is returning, though?
It seems to be. Basically, Falcon and Winter Soldier is essentially, filling in the gaps of, the characters that are showing up in the Captain America movies, like Baron Zemo too.
I know we've already brought it up, but just noticing how ridiculous it is. You don't need to change to a different shot every time somebody punches someone or something.
Also, wait a minute. Why are you talking as if you know me? I barely met you.
Because I guess he has a reputation.
And this is crazy.
Yeah, okay, like I said before, the Russos were mainly famous for sitcoms, not action films.
Now, I will say this. I'm gonna go against the popular opinion and say that while I do like what the Russo brothers were doing, I feel like they only really started excelling when it came to the likes of Infinity War and Endgame. And even Infinity War has its issues, as you may remember from our podcast revolving around that movie.
Okay, Joe, for a second there, I thought you were going to say, I'm going to be controversial, I hate the Russos.
Nah. Again, I love the episodes of Community they did, especially the paintball ones, eh, Shiroi? Shiroi?
I think she's BRB. Oh, sorry.
Yeah. Which was your favorite paintball episode, actually?
I wouldn't be able to tell you because I've only seen them once.
Shit, grenade!
Oh, snap!
Well, hey, it's a good job she saved that data.
On the magical S.H.I.E.L.D. USB.
Also,
Seriously.
so speaking of Black Widow here...
Natasha, what the fuck happened?
Come on, Natasha.
You're better than this.
That's the thing. This movie is the one that tries to ship Black Widow with Captain America. Now, you may remember, first we shipped Black Widow with Tony in Iron Man 2.
That's part of the character, Joe. Again, much like in Iron Man 2, we're going for the femme fatale vibe.
No. I mean, the problem is that they play it straight. Like, oh, she's legit in love with them as opposed to just playing it out. Especially when it comes to Bruce. But that's the thing. First, it was Tony with Iron Man 2, and maybe you could say it was the femme fatale thing. Then they legit shipped her with Hawkeye, and that's just all kinds of awkward in hindsight.
Actually, yeah, that's a big bit.
Sam, we started filming. Oh, there you go.
Oh, God damn it! And there's another.
Is that line gonna be completely shot down later or something?
Yes.
More like scratch, though.
Give it a few
Okay.
years, Shiroy. Give it a few years.
I know. It just makes Nick Fury come off as a really weird man.
This is
To be
kind of
to be fair, I don't blame this movie for this because the retcon was introduced later, and in effect, I'm sure
Yeah, but that's the
retroactive it
thing.
is.
That's the thing. That's supposed to. Kevin Feige's job's supposed to be making sure that shit doesn't.
Yeah.
happen.
This is a bit of an issue with the MCU. Like, don't get me wrong, they're generally good with continuity, but they do have a lot of those spots where they blatantly miss the mark on stuff with continuity.
Also,
here and
I
there.
really don't like Nick Fury's uniform in this.
Now, okay. And, but speaking of criticism, I actually do like this thing that they do bring up here. What you would think is the main theme of the story here. Do you want people actually properly keeping you safe? Or do you want there to be more freedom of sorts here? Oh, this line here. I mean,
Fair enough.
given the
Fair.
times around then, yeah.
That's not unreasonable, really.
Especially
Yeah.
for a black man in that time and age. Okay.
Oh, the fancy new air carriers.
Look how fancy we are.
Armed to the teeth, too.
Yes.
Well, I mean, coming off a massive alien invasion 2 years before.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know why, but even here the music seems like it's trying to be more bombastic, but it
I
feels
don't know,
subdued.
I like it. I'm sure nothing wrong can go with this.
See, we mentioned Tony Stark, therefore we don't have to have the Avengers.
Again, mentioning them but doing nothing about the problem is arguably even worse.
Yeah, but pretty much from before, Cap has been kind of rightfully concerned about all this armament. Yeah, sure.
Whatever
Yeah,
you say.
exactly.
Yeah.
Get with the tangrams, yo.
You should totally get a Facebook or MySpace page and learn about NASCAR.
Ugh. Okay, for context here, it's a joke from the comic book version of Civil War where we mentioned that Captain America isn't really a patriot because he doesn't use MySpace.
Or know about...
What does that even mean?
I don't know, Shira. Mark Millar is a terrible writer. I'm sorry.
That's the thing. When Mark Millar screws up, he really can make you forget that he has written good stuff, but... Ooh, Civil War.
Remember when you could stay very close to each other?
Okay. I feel like we're saying this in every movie now. It's been that long.
Civil
Also,
War.
Steve, your disguise consists of a trucker hat. Seriously?
You'd be surprised how effective that can be for actors sometimes.
I mean, at least put a pair of glasses. Those usually help.
I was about to say, wait, is this like the glasses thing? Or...
See, even a kid can recognize you. Look.
What a great disguise there, Cap.
Oh.
Yeah, just ignore the part where we use America as an advertisement hog.
Yeah, as you can imagine, most of the liberators are kind of dead. But,
Yeah,
you know,
the Howling
it's to be
Commandos.
expected. It's a good thing they haven't done what they did in original Sin, where it turned out that Nick Fury kept, like, on stasis the body of Dum Dum Dugan against his will.
Yeah, there's a reason.
Original Sin is a terrible series. Don't bother.
There's a reason we prefer MCU Nick Fury or Nick Fury Jr. as he's called in the comics over original.
Let's retcon the fact that Deadpool killed his parents in a very tragic way, and there's absolutely no comedy about it.
Hey, Cap, why don't you go see Peggy? She's still alive right now.
That's mostly these.
There we go.
There we go.
And yeah, that is the actress from the previous.
With old makeup. It's a bit noticeable, but I've seen worse.
Also, yeah. Thank God we're at the scene where the Russos calmed down with the camera.
Also, Peggy, I wonder, who did you ever marry after all that happened? I wonder.
If she even married at all, did she?
Oh, she did, Shiroy.
Oh.
They show that in Agent Carter.
Dibs, you know what I'm talking about.
Yes, well, I do know, Jova, and I do believe you're thinking in the wrong way, but that's reserved for a lot of movies after this.
It's been a while. I mean, I don't think I've seen Civil War. Saw it. Actually, I think I might have seen it once or twice.
Well, we know that... Oh.
Just apply some pin particles, but no one tells her.
Hindsight.
Yeah, one other theme of this movie is essentially, again, dealing with the fact that Steve has to catch up with the time. One thing that he couldn't have the time to do for the first Avengers movie, but now he kind of has to, you know.
Come to terms with how the world is evolving around him.
And most of the people that he knew are dying or are already dead. And he just doesn't really know how to react to that.
Which is why I've mentioned, you may notice he's become a bit of a death seeker in a sense. Like, maybe he wants out, but he wants to do it the honorable way.
It's combined with survivor's guilt, essentially, Drova. Oh. Why do you need to have themed USB drivers? That is so stupid.
Because it makes for easy merchandise.
Oh.
It makes it look more official. I mean, I'm sell them to people.
Oh, what's
really
this?
Different looking USB. Oh.
What is going on?
Oh God, clones.
All right, the console of S.H.I.E.L.D.
Okay,
you did such a bang-up job in the Avengers.
AKA, these are the guys who really...
generic council of dicks from the Avengers.
AKA the guys who really should have been blamed in Civil War for how things went terribly.
Frankly, I'm just thinking... Again, it showcases... It's hilarious how, you know, stuff like Evangelion could manage to get this kind of thing right at the end of the 90s, but almost 20 years later they couldn't with this.
Anyway, meet this new
basically-
character, Alexander Pierce.
Played by Robert Redford.
This is actually quite interesting. Robert Redford has been in, let's call it a political thriller movie that was very similar to this, but I'll explain more of the details about that later.
Yeah, basically he had he's still alive at the time of this recording, but he retired from acting in 2020.
Fair enough, but that's one thing that one person in my country did notice when he did a sort of a retrospective on MCU. Each movie manages to get an exclusive type of star power, and this is the one in here. I thought you were going to say that's a miracle. Ha 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 ha! Funny.
Hey,
Yeah, if we can afford Robert Downey Jr.
Again, I'll just say this. I know that this movie is trying to be kept to Captain America itself, but given the threat that occurs in this one, the Avengers, at the very least those on Earth, should have been alerted concerning what's going to happen later.
But hey,
Okay, I really do like Sam Wilson in this movie, and I love Anthony
basically
Mackie's here.
Wilson's basically helping people come to terms with any issues they've been having.
Again, therapy for war veterans.
I will say this though, that again, I think they could have done a bit better job with how these two meet, rather as opposed to they just met during jogging, because
It's like a visual novel.
Like I said,
Hello, I'm Steve Rogers, and this is my first day at S.H.I.E.L.D. school.
This is my coffee shop AU.
Oh my god, a Captain America romance visual novel.
I mean, it can work, I guess.
Yeah.
There was a video game tying to this, but it was mobile only.
Was it any good?
I don't know. I haven't tried it. Again, this was also the last one, as far as I know, that they did. Iron Man 3 for the Dark Horse, and these were the last movies that received a tying game, which is kind of a shame, because I do believe that there is potential for this.
Give us a Black Panther game, damn it!
I do wonder if one of the next big Lego projects will be Lego MCU recurring all the movies on that front. That would be neat.
Yeah.
I'd love that.
I mean, right now they're busy with the Skywalker saga, but you never know, maybe.
It's with the same thought process that could work. To be fair, well, Traveler's Tales, I think they're being, removed from the Lego basement. I don't know.
Okay.
All the Lego movies and games tend to follow the same kind of logic when it comes to making them, so yeah, it should probably be fine.
Okay, so
get ready, folks. About
home.
Also, Chevrolet. I think it is.
Yeah, Chevrolet.
Oh, it's the first time I managed to recognize an automobile.
Oh, notice something.
I normally really suck at these. Nothing to see here. Next scene, please. Next scene. Thank you.
Oh.
Oh.
Fuck.
Jesus Christ!
Stop! He's already dead.
Jesus Christ! Police brutality is up even farther.
Oh, the timing.
God damn it.
Again, next scene, please.
But it's okay, but it's okay.
These aren't the police.
Could have fooled me.
Well, in the words of a wise man, fuck the police.
Reminds me, this particular group, are they meant to be covert?
Yes.
I think.
Bang
a fucking battery ram.
They're in the middle of Washington, D.C., and yet they have loud guns.
What's Well, it's okay, Dwibs. They're disguised as the police and SWAT team, so people will just consider it business as usual.
You'd think people would be a little more nosy or concerned, though. Also, maybe if you work for an organization, especially the one you do, you should maybe have a backup secret car just in case.
Well, Shiroi, he technically is in the backup secret car.
Get a backup for your backup.
Yay!
Bang.
Finally.
I was going to say, run the boat.
Well, yeah, we ran close to them, so bye.
Aw, man, that would have been so cool to see a flying
I was
car.
promised the flying cars.
We spent most of our budget on Nick Fury's eye patch.
I thought you were going to say on the explosion of that single car.
Sorry,
Oh, for
can't get...
fuck's sake.
So, hey, the air conditioning works.
Well, it's better than nothing.
Okay. Comedy like that does work, seeing as how it ties into the system actually malfunctioning.
Fair enough, I guess.
Pardon me, random citizen, you'll thank me for this some decade or two later down the line.
Actually, considering what we know at the end of the, Spider-Man Far From Home, I wonder. Yeah, okay, the quick cuts are really becoming distracting.
Yeah, I mean, seriously?
Ooh, God!
You needed 3
Jesus.
cuts for a car driving?
How many cuts was that in just the last few seconds? I think...
Let me check who's the editor of these.
Did they hire Olivier Megaton to direct this bit?
It's like with the more hand-to-hand combat. It's like every time somebody hits something, the camera changes.
It's like
Stop it, please.
Okay, for those who don't know, Olivier Megaton was the guy who directed Taken 2 and 3.
I've heard those.
Anyway,
go on.
The editor seems to be the same. Jeffrey Ford and Matthew Smith. They've been doing stuff ever since the first Captain America. They did that one, Iron Man 3, the Avengers, Iron Man 3, Winter Soldier, Age of Ultron, Civil War, Infinity War, and Endgame.
Yeah, that's the thing. This is the only movie that of those that those editors have done where the action's like this. I can only assume the Russos told them to cut it that
to do that, I guess. Oh, for fuck's sake. Bye! Jesus Christ.
Oh my God, Penske!
What is that, Trevor? Delivery company?
Of sorts.
It's actually difficult to watch.
What, the product placement?
Oh, I wonder
No.
who that person is.
Anyway,
No, Joe, the cameras are flashing too quickly for me to actually notice the product placement.
Oh, someone watched The Dark Knight.
Basically, Teo, Penske is a truck rental service.
Okay.
Okay, folks, 30 minutes in, and we finally have our namesake.
The teacher of Winter Soldier.
Or half of it. Remember, the other half's Captain America. Oh, he's got his lightsaber out.
He's not purple.
Well, remember when Mace Windu had his hand cut off, he lost that light.
I'm surprised that they didn't use the lightsaber sound effect for that.
To be fair, yeah, this was after we bought Star Wars, so why not?
Not only that, but the lightsaber sound effect is literally public domain. Like, remember, it was used in Ghost Dad.
Ugh. I think the blaster sound effect might be public domain or something. No, it's not. But I do remember, at least in one of the gameplay demonstrations, that it was used for Buzz Lightyear's laser in Kingdom Hearts 3.
I wonder who this woman is.
No one important.
Oh, I'm sure she would love that.
I've seen, to be fair, Joe, I heard worse pickup lines, so.
Do you want to use my washing machine?
But meanwhile, he has to, of course, pay the subletter's rent, of course. By the way, Peter Parker's in the apartment right up there, complaining about fixing his damn door.
Of course, because life is really against Pete.
Yeah.
Wait a minute.
She didn't really need to use the washing machine.
Oh shit! I left my keys in.
I left the cat on the stove.
Was that SpongeBob joke? I have to go. I left my hat in the freezer. Oh.
Nick, are you fine?
Where does he keep that shield
Sam,
of his?
filming. Wait, if you were being hunted down, why would you go back to your house with you? I would put her in danger.
But yeah, this is a thing I'm a bit iffy on, starting with Phase 2. Nick Fury. Okay, I get it. The guy can be a dick, and I'm not asking for him to be paramount, heroic, and all that, but Nick Fury makes some very, very, very baffling decisions starting in Phase 2. Tio knows what I'm talking about.
That too, but you made an involuntary wordplay with Paramount.
Yeah.
You and me. 1v1 me, bitch.
Oh.
Well.
Are we friends now?
Fuck.
Oh yeah, and then this film kind of does the whole thing with, like what James Bond does sometimes. Oh, he's dead, except not really.
One does have
Trust
to...
no one, not even yourself.
One does have to wonder, though, how the hell do you...
Oh shit.
Hey, Sharon Carter!
My name is not Kate.
So one might wonder, why wasn't she up at the forefront, unlike Black Widow? The answer, I have no idea.
Yay! Cap, use the door next time.
Great, more action.
More cuts and shaky cams.
Again, you know, okay, interesting thing. When I was watching Civil War, I was like, oh god, they're still doing this action. But then after the halfway point, that action just kind of stopped.
Oh shit.
That's the first time anyone's ever caught it. And
Catch
thrown
and
it that
release,
hard.
literally. Well, shit.
Yeah, it's a good job he doesn't jump, or he'd end up like Samuel Jackson.
In what movie? Oh, yeah.
The other guys.
Wait. Never heard of that movie.
It's basically, it's a film where Mark Wahlberg and Farrell are two cops who get dragged into a situation after The Rock and Samuel L. Jackson jump off, thinking that they were invincible, chasing criminals.
Oh, let me guess. The joke is that you would think The Rock and Samuel Jackson would be the main heroes, but nope, it's these other guys.
Also, this villain had a metal arm. You know what that means? This is secretly a lead into Marvel vs. Capcom, and it was Nathan Spencer from Bionic Commando.
Oh, goody.
So yeah, guys, Nick Fury is totally dead, we swear.
And then we cut and see that one of those surgeons was Ryan Reynolds, because
Yes.
there's that popular gif of him saying, "But why? in that surgeon uniform. I actually don't know from what movie it is.
Honestly, given Phase 4,
We're gonna pretend he was there all along.
Yeah, why not?
Well, then how did he become Deadpool?
Oh,
No, more like he got into the MCU, but was at the wrong timing, and he had to hide until a certain point.
okay, now, let's talk again about Black Widow here, okay? So, if there was one thing that critics did were split on was the handling of Black Widow here and there. Some people think that she was basically kind of stereotypical eye candy for the male audience, but others would argue that her character was handled well, and she spends far less time in the film doing anything fan servicey, especially compared to the previous movies.
Mm-hmm.
Let's not forget Iron Man 2 literally had her in a lingerie scene.
Yeah.
That being said, though, I think this movie is unfortunately a contributor to the problem that the MCU just never felt like it knew fully what it wanted to do with Black Widow here. Like, ignoring the fact that she's only recently, and at the time of this recording, has still been delayed getting her own movie, which,
But Disney is adamant on releasing theaters.
Which, come on, Disney, at this point, you gotta realize it's probably better. I mean, granted, I am glad that WandaVision ended up being the start of Phase 4 instead of Black Widow, because, yeah, seriously, what sense does it make for a movie that takes place in Phase 3 to be the start to Phase 4? And by God, if they do what a lot of people are fearing is going to happen in the Black Widow movie thing, that could piss a lot of people off. But no, seriously though, Black Widow... Okay, I won't say that she got the shaft. She still got plenty of chances to be awesome, but it really did feel like they didn't know what to do with her in these movies here and there. Like, maybe make her the femme fatale, or maybe make her the person everyone could talk to, or maybe make her this or that guy's love interest here and there, or hell, I don't know, make it so that she has a tragic backstory about how she was forced to not be able to have children or whatnot, and it's a mess.
Not to mention, remember, Joe, this was still the point where Perlmutter was in charge, at least partially. So, oh, look at that, a microfilm. Sorry, a micro camera. But it was the point where Perlmutter was mostly in charge, so he was still dictating a lot of things, so that's why the Black Widow movie was delayed time and time again.
Huh. I guess Cap's not too happy about being spied on. It's funny because Robert Redford also played the hero in another movie involving political sabotage.
Which one?
Let me look it up here and there.
Like, I know from fame Robert Redford, but right now I can't think of a particular movie that I may watch with him in it. I'll look it up on my own for his filmography.
Come on. Here it is. He was in a movie called 3 Days of the Condor, in which he was the protagonist, essentially. Basically, yeah. Basically, he plays the hero against a guy running a conspiracy, while he is the agent who's being hunted. Which is, kind of interesting.
Mm-hmm.
Wait, Nick bugged the room and warned Captain America about it?
Oh, right, he was in the Pete's Dragon live action remake, I forgot. Yeah, Batroc is a bit too stupid to do that.
Oh.
Huh. Oh. Okay, so show of hands. Your first time watching this. Did you actually buy this?
Not really.
But yeah, kind of a tough sell that, yes, the guy, Nick Fury, who's been arranging the Avengers and everything, who went against the High Command to save the world, would all of a sudden sell classified information.
That sounds like a stupid thing to do.
I mean, the only way I could possibly buy that is if they held his wife hostage or something.
Which you would think would have been an interesting thing. But no, I'm just letting you know, audience, they don't do that here.
So he's just legit doing this?
That's what the movie claims.
Ugh.
Yeah, like I said, if there's one issue I do have with this movie, is like, oh, it does have some interesting ideas. The problem is that a lot of those ideas kind of get abandoned for one reason or another, or some don't even get pursued at all.
Alright.
Dio, you missed it.
Oh, damn it.
The point where Alexander Pierce claims that Nick Fury was supposedly selling classified information.
Oh, okay, no. I thought I missed the other major important line.
Oh, which one?
Well, you know the one, the two magic words.
Oh, nope, not yet. That being said, though, yeah, so Tia, what was your first thought when you got to that scene? Did you actually believe that Nick Fury was using the pirate incident to sell classified information?
Yes, but I could believe that Nick Fury was also an imposter and were building up to something like the Scrolls.
That, it's funny they later did do Scrolls, but I'll say this. One of my criticisms of this movie is like, well, this movie does raise some interesting ideas here, but it doesn't always follow through with them.
Yeah. Wait a minute, if they're allies...
Guys, you do know that guns don't work on me, right?
Fun fact, actually, the Russo brothers replicated the scene in Community during Season 6, too. Much aplomb. In a incredibly hilarious way.
Same directors.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's getting a bit cramped in here.
Okay, I don't need to see the single teardrop of sweat.
This movie's gonna make sure it gets everything.
Okay, what's the maximum occupancy of this elevator?
A lot of...
Maybe they have better elevators in this company.
I know, Cap, but that was a terrible haircut. Yeah.
So we're about to get those words, right? Yes.
Turns out, yeah, S.H.I.E.L.D's having a few problems, right?
Whoop.
Yes, welcome to arguably one of the most iconic scenes in this movie here. The elevator fight.
I could see it.
Yeah, you know what's sad is that honestly it was shot a lot better in Community. Also, Sitwell. Or shame on you, Sitwell.
When did that episode of Community come out?
Season 6. Oh wait,
fucking magnets, how do they work?
What year did it come out, you're asking?
Yeah.
Let me check.
Sure.
2015.
Ah, so 1 year after this film.
Huh. They really did want to replicate it.
Oh, come on, you didn't do a German suplex. Yeah, kinda does.
Well, I mean, to be fair, you're in a...
You know, in 2020, a scene like this would have been a nightmare.
Yeah. Unless
Going
Bye.
down.
unless all the actors were in a biosecure or something.
I don't think elevators have good ventilation.
Again, sure, they'd have to have everyone be in a biosecure, but like how they handled I'm a Celebrity.
Wanna
Yeah,
bet?
it's high enough. Don't worry.
And he died. Well, that was Captain
Also,
America.
a lot of people got cuts from the glass.
Yeah. So, guys, no, wait, no. He's alive.
I'll see my way out. Also, woo!
Sorry.
So
Too fast for you.
suckers! Oh.
For a second, that those spikes. For a second there, I thought they were missiles. What's that you say? Drive on, okay. Guys, we really should have made our equipment a lot harder for his shield.
To be fair, his shield is made of the one unbreakable thing that we don't have a surplus of.
Adamantium?
Vibranium.
No, vibranium.
Remember, we couldn't use adamantium at this point.
Oh god, now that they can, what do you think they're gonna do with adamantium? Or if they do include Wolverine...
They're just heavy. Java, just because there is one indestructible metal doesn't mean that they cannot have also another one.
You know what's ironic though? Is like, in the X-Men universe, they also made adamantium come from space. So...
Having space metal, metal coming from an asteroid, and being better than the ones on Earth, it's a pretty common plot point for many things.
Yeah, why?
How dare you question my orders? Oh, I'm sure you're shedding every tear you can.
Yeah, I'm sure.
This is Steve in the house.
Nothing to see
Trying
here.
to get back the
His
US
palms are sweaty. Leaves him unregretted.
Well, crud. Maybe leaving the USB in a...
Mate, what are you doing?
Okay, honest question. Okay, Steve, all things considered, why would you hide it in someplace easy to find, like a vending machine?
Seriously.
Like, there were literally only 2 bags in front of it. You don't think anyone has, the ability to see diagonally?
I mean, what if some kid got it?
Again, that's the thing about this movie. It does a lot good, but there are also a lot of issues about it that really do make me wonder.
I mean, people would be able to see it, but Dwibs, they probably wouldn't be able to get it. These machines are very finicky.
Well, that's the thing, Sherry. He literally put it on one of the bag slots. All somebody has to do is put in the right amount of money, and out it comes.
Yeah, providing the rings actually let the thing fall.
Yeah, it's one of those with it's just this close, but it doesn't let it drop. And you're like beating the shit out of the machine, but it doesn't do a barge.
No.
Yes. Also, did Cap seriously say that Natasha probably looks bad in bikinis? Really? We literally had a scene in Iron Man 2 that contradicts that.
Also, that's just rude.
Okay, stop rotating the camera.
Don't you see it looks psychotic?
Okay, I didn't know the...
Okay.
Okay, something snappy. Yeah, that's what you told me to say. Okay, one of them looks like the going to a convention.
Seriously, caps being steal things like a trucker hat is enough for these guys. But to be fair, though, yes, put glasses on. So
I was
there's
about
that.
to say.
That does help.
Alright, let's see what's inside. Black vans.
Of course, it's always an AI.
Lively,
Bit
sure.
of an ego, eh, there, Nat?
It's probably an experienced hacker at this point.
Okay,
Oh,
seriously,
those guys don't look too happy.
why do you keep using guns? You do know they don't work on Cap.
I guess they would.
If they shoot him in the head, it might.
Yeah, but he's too fast for that. Also, that shield of his.
Yeah.
New Jersey.
Yeah. We're going to 90 or Beeswax, New Jersey. Hold on, my name is. I don't give a shit.
And this
Oh.
has been Apple Store product placement.
You know.
Well, I mean,
You see, Nate, Nat, this is why you use NordVPN.
And also considering for a while that Steve Jobs was a stakeholder in Disney.
You know, it's funny. From what I've heard, Apple apparently have a policy that villains are not allowed to use their products in movies. Because that would make them seem bad.
Serious?
That's dumb.
So what are they going to say? Villains use a Microsoft phone?
I don't know.
Also, Hard Rock Cafe.
Also, the irony is palpable.
Yeah.
Hi.
Yes, Scarlett Johansson. I'm sure nobody will recognize you.
Black Widow, now's really not the time.
Okay, seriously though, are they trying to make Black Widow like a computer or something? Like, that's the thing, in this movie she acts more cold and calculating, where, yeah, I guess she kind of did act like that in Iron Man 2, but I don't know, come Avengers, it seemed like she could be friendly or something. I don't know.
That's a reference to the 1990s movie.
Yeah, take your. It's very rude of you. Your feet on the ash.
But yeah, I really mean no disrespect, but Natasha is weird in this movie. Granted, she's, I guess technically you could call that weird in almost all movies. It seemed like they were finally getting an idea of her in Phase 3. And then, well, you know, stuff happened.
You see, kids, all the Marvel superheroes are important, except Black Widow.
Oh! Yeah. Including one that we literally just introduced right out of The Fly. And is totally the best hero in all the MCU because the characters keep saying so.
Yeah, okay, Joe.
All in due time, all in due time.
Okay, Scarlett, let's try that again, but not like a robot, please.
People who does not compute, insert money, process.
Again, I do like what they're bringing up with this thing about him possibly being in the wrong form of business. Again, it kind of gets dropped afterwards, though. Kinda, sorta. All in due time, though. All in due time. Wait a minute. Camp Lehigh? Doesn't this seem familiar, guys? The camp where he trained. Also, we waited till night to come back, I guess?
This is clearly a day-to-night shot. We're not even trying.
Hey, that doesn't look like
Tommy
Tommy Lee
Jones.
Jones.
Was he busy with Men in Black 3 at this point?
Oh my god, his past self sees his older self.
What does this mean?
I don't know.
By the way, very quickly, for the sake of the audience, that little point Joven made was so stupid, I had to look it up, and yeah, Apple won't let bad guys use their phones in movies.
Oh my god.
It's petty.
There you go.
That's so dumb.
I know, right?
It's because Apple don't want to be seen as the bad guys. Again, the irony.
I like what this guy said though. It's like it could spoil future movies because you just know who the villains are now.
Damn.
Oh snap.
I think is this the director of Knives Out, or at least somebody who worked on the movie?
Actually,
but
yeah, that's a good point. Now you'll know for certain somebody isn't a bad guy if they use Apple tech.
Everyone's just like, look, check what phone they're using.
This is the day and age we live in, folks. Oh, hey,
Oh,
Howard.
also Howard.
The Megacorp doesn't want to look like bad guys.
Oh, there's Tommy Lee Jones as a portrait.
Fair enough.
Dusty. Scooby-Dooby-Doo.
Roll. Why not? These will be also important in the end game.
Did they put in the wrong password?
Yeah, they probably just wouldn't work.
Either that or they get shot.
Edna mode. And guest. Okay, folks, get ready for some good old comic book weirdness.
Mm-hmm.
And also Toby Jones.
All in due time, dweebs. Don't be so
yes,
sure.
I remember the 1940s USB hubs.
Thing looks like it's using 3.0 before 3.0 was even a thing. Ah, the good old days when computers were literally as big as a building.
Mm-hmm.
Just to store, like, what, 5 megabytes?
Initiate system?
Yes, well done. You can spell yes.
Congrats, Nate.
Can you imagine if she couldn't? Shall we play a
Yeah, you sing
game?
Thor.
Cute. I understood that reference.
So there you are. Ladies and gentlemen, I give you AI
Our
Toby
name's Olaf.
Jones.
Can you imagine if this is a pre-recorded message?
This is as close as we get. As we've seen in Captain America Super Soldier, normally in the comics, Zola prefers to transfer these type of AI controllers into a robot that has a monitor on his chest with his face on it. That's kind of dumb, so we went for a more realistic approach. I can see what we were going for. Wow.
I just told you I'm Swiss.
Yeah, that's the slogan of Hydra.
I hear you go even.
Hmm. Well, duh. Some stock footage too.
Oh, hey, some bits from the Agent Carter show.
Well, fuck.
Okay.
So yeah, here's the big twist of it. S.H.I.E.L.D. has essentially become a Hydra cell involuntarily because of infiltration of there you go, of our new Zola.
This is one of the big things people are split on. On the one hand, it's a fantastic twist. Like, when you look back and notice some things, you might notice some things.
Here
On
could
the
be the
other
problem,
hand,
Jova.
wait.
It's too early. That's my biggest concern about it. It's too early.
I agree. It's too early.
How old was the MCU at this point? 6 years?
Thank you. This was around kind of the halfway point, 5 years, I think.
I mean, okay, I get what they're trying to go with, but maybe this could have been saved for being the plot revelation of Avengers 2.
Or or Civil War, technically.
I mean, it's a pretty big deal.
Oh no,
so-
it really is. That's what I mean, Shira. I think it should have been saved when there was more build-up to it. It also doesn't help with a couple of movies after this will try to copy these kind of themes, including Spectre, and I don't like that at all.
Question, because I've never really cared about watching it at all. Does the TV series actually bother with any of this at all?
What's TV series?
Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D., yes, these had
Yes.
repercussions on that too.
Yeah. Oh, that's the thing. The twist is not necessarily a bad one, but like Tio said, it's too early. But here's the other big problem that affects the movie itself here. Because of his plot revelation, all of the other interesting debates or plot elements of this movie are pretty much rendered null and void. Like, the whole thing about how there was an argument about, safety versus freedom, essentially. Well, when you immediately make the Nazis, and yes, Hydra are Nazis, Marvel, don't try to fool anyone.
Well, I thought they were worse than the Nazis.
Well, you know the thing, Tio. Sometimes Marvel tries to go, oh, Hydra aren't really Nazis.
Never mind the fact they were created to avoid German censorship laws when they have a stand-in for the Nazis, but whatever.
Pretty much, yeah. So here's the thing, though. When you make essentially the Nazis be behind the side that wants more safety, essentially, that's it. The argument's pretty much thrown out. And that's
It's
the biggest...
one-sided.
That's the biggest problem with this movie here. It does try to talk a big game with being nuanced, but at the end of the day, it's pretty much black and white. It's obvious what's the right side to go with. This is one thing
Yeah, and it's not the Nazis.
Sure,
Take your hint.
Sure. Believe it or not, sometimes Marvel has trouble discerning that going with the Nazis is a bad idea. Secret Empire, anyone?
Secret
How
Empire.
can you possibly... You know what?
Secret Empire spends most of it having the heroes blaming more themselves rather than, the actual Nazis.
Yeah, and that's not even getting into the goddamn Hail Hydra stuff. Also, gee, what a shock, Alexander Pierce is, behind Winter Soldier. Dun dun dun. Yeah, I do feel like this is a little too early into the movie as well. Like, they could have run with the idea that Alexander Pierce was actually meaning well, but no, he's a bad guy. Now, granted, part of the reason that his actor joined was because he wanted to play a villain in this type of movie, so...
Oh, so it's like Martin Sheen for the Spawn movie.
Yeah.
For context for the audience, we're barely just over halfway through this.
Yeah.
Again,
And we're being thrown all this at us.
Yeah, this is... Okay.
It's really, okay, there's one thing you can't say about this film is that it happened.
Oh, dear.
Oh.
I mean, the twists themselves are fine. They're just coming at us a bit too quickly, like the others said.
Dead.
He's that evil that he'll kill.
Only she knocked on the
I
door.
think that was his nanny or something.
Like the cleaning lady, something. Is that Sunny D?
Maybe. But yeah, again, like I said, folks, good movie, but it does have some egregious errors, and well, that's one of them. Again, it's such a lot of missed potential here and there. Like, here's an idea. Why, you know what? For as controversial, not really, as this may seem, why not have saved this whole plot idea for Avengers 2? And, you know...
Avengers 2 already had enough shit going on.
No, but I mean, maybe we could have saved Ultron for a different movie and had this be the major thing. Because again, something as big as S.H.I.E.L.D. literally being, possessed by Hydra, don't you think that should call the attention of all the Avengers?
Yeah, where the fuck is Tony in all of this?
Where's Bruce?
I forgot. He pretends to have destroyed all of his armors in Iron Man 3. Silly me.
God. That's another problem with Phase 2 in general. It didn't feel like the movies were gelling together. Like, it didn't really feel like there was so much a rhyme or reason to them. Like, compare this to Phase 1, which was slowly but surely building us up towards the Avengers with each origin, but in a way sort of tying them together loosely here. Whereas here it's just, whatever, this happens, this happens, this happens.
Also, Jova, you have to potentially look at the bigger picture. It didn't happen with me because, like I said, I skipped this movie when it came out. But if I watched it in sequence between Iron Man 3 and this, it would have given me, and also for the Dark World, it kind of would have given me the idea that the MCU was essentially kind of giving up on the things they constructed.
Yeah, again, it's like I said, Phase 2 is really the weakest link in regards to the phases here, because, whereas Phase 1 feels like it's about slowly bringing the heroes together, Phase 2 feels like it's about splitting them up and breaking them down more than Civil War actually did.
I mean, whoever's in charge of the continuity, quote unquote, should probably I don't know how they deal with it, but I'm guessing they don't rewatch the full movies because they make up the stuff as they go along. Like, I know people like to think otherwise with big franchises, but they really do. They really need to watch the movies in full, or at least have somebody keep a very close eye on what's going on, because this keeps happening.
Case in point, Shiroy, the whole Nick Fury not trusting anyone because of how he lost his eye thing. That is especially what I say. You should think the stuff well ahead in advance here. Again, the MCU is definitely a well-crafted universe, but let's not pretend that it is invulnerable to all criticism and pretend like it doesn't still fall into a lot of the same stupid traps that a lot of its competitors do. Like, if there's one weakness I think the MCU still does have, it's not always thinking stuff ahead that far. Like, hell, you can tell, given the fact that Thanos changed actors himself, too, that they didn't have everything planned out with him.
Not to mention, technically, how the climax of Endgame is constructed, but it's a story for another time.
Oh, yes, that is.
But back to this movie instead.
This movie does have a bit of what I would consider a piece.
Also, yes.
Hey, remember that guy from Iron Man 2?
Also, that, I forgot about him. Also, that project that Sam had was called Falcon. More on that later.
So remember this dick senator who really came at odds with Tony, who, in some cases, one would have sided over Tony?
And yet, they didn't involve back the President of the United States.
Weird.
Iron
Wait,
Man
here
3.
we go. Yep,
Dun, dun,
turns
dun.
out he was with Hydra, so I guess Tony was in the right when he acted like a dick in court. No, he wasn't.
It also became a meme to have someone whisper when you have a situation where someone is whispering in someone else's ear to say that.
Also, yeah, a lot of fans were actually pretty sad that Sitwell turned out to be a Hydra agent, because, he had legit been a guy we'd been following a lot here and there, and... Yeah. Also, what's gonna happen with Sitwell in a few minutes is, well, it's a common issue with the MCU. We'll get to that later. Aw, he didn't say on your left.
Oh.
Oops.
Oh.
That gets some information. Oh, come on, don't hold him by the tie.
If it's a clip-on, it wouldn't work out well.
Yeah, net, tag
No!
in. Not the time.
Surprise!
And there you go. There's Sam Wilson's introducing the character of Falcon with a costume more fitting for the MCU because the one in the comics is one of the more silly ones.
Yeah, so here's the thing. Wilson just happens to be one of the descendants of one of the Howling Commandos that Captain America was running around with in World
How
War II.
convenient.
Also,
Wait, Stephen Strange?
yeah, apparently he's a threat to Hydra for some reason.
Yeah, he's actually mentioning also in one of the
met him
monitors.
yet.
It's a literal AI that reads the pattern of humanity and predicts what's gonna happen next, so we can manipulate that. Yeah.
You know, it's funny. Civil War II tackled something similar to this. Whether or not we should use a certain person who could predict the future, and mind you, those futures weren't guaranteed, but possibly arrest or take out people who would turn out to be bad guys. Again, it wasn't guaranteed. The split in Civil...
That is being a thing since pretty much Minority Report. Bye.
And yeah, that's it. Well, just killed off like that. So yeah, a character who we spent years pretty much following is just dead like that.
Years? I thought it was only in this movie.
No, Dwibs, remember, Sitwell's literally been a thing since Phase 1.
Winter Soldier.
Also, dudes, remember, Sitwell's literally been a thing since Phase 1. He was...
Mm-hmm.
And again, he was sort of a bit of a fan favorite, so... Yeah, fans weren't too happy with him just getting clicked off like that.
How much did Chevrolet pay for this movie?
When he got yeeted off the motorway.
But yeah, okay. The funny thing about Civil War II, though, Tio, is that they had the goal to suggest that we should lock people up, but here's the thing. Guess who was in charge of the hero side who was all for doing that and ended up seeing a blast?
Carol Danvers.
Yep, good old Carol Danvers. And because of that, she became the hero that nobody in the Marvel Universe likes. Go figure.
I think there was also a time where Carol Danvers basically dissed off Magneto, telling that he didn't know anything about the Nazis or something.
Not only that, but Carol Danvers is the reason that Bruce Banner died. And not only that, she got played for a fool, essentially, because he wasn't the Hulk at the time, but they shot and killed him, and once you know, that brought him back as a pissed-off Hulk later down in the years.
Yeah, I've been reading Immortal Hulk, that is surprisingly a very good line.
And, well, I guess the best thing to come out of it was Jennifer Walters, Bruce's cousin, pretty much calling Carol out on her crap.
She got also her own problems later on, but it's a really story for another time.
We'll talk more about Civil War II when we get to the Civil War movie.
I have to say, for this action sequence, at least they slow down with the cuts, so there's that.
Oh. Huh. Didn't see that coming.
I wonder who's behind the mask.
I wonder.
Nobody knew who it was until they put on the mask.
Well, thank goodness we haven't read comics, so there's no way we could know who that is. Although,
I actually don't know how much, how much faithful is an adaptation this is.
well, okay, to be fair, the minute you see Winter Soldier, you kinda, if you've read enough comics, you probably would know who it is. That said, though, Dwibs, I'm guessing you managed to guess who the Winter
Yes,
Soldier
yeah,
was? Oh. Hey, Shiroi.
Yes.
So, Shiroi, were you able to guess who the Winter Soldier was without any,
The first time you watch this movie.
Yeah.
I don't remember, honestly.
Okay.
Huh. I'll admit, you would be, if you didn't know, you'd be the first person I met who didn't know in advance.
Bye.
Hey, keep shooting the shield! Don't shoot his legs or anything! Hey, Dubs.
You were saying about them calming down with the camera work?
Honestly, I think it will still do.
I do see
Compared
what
to
Dwibs...
before, the cuts are actually less.
Hey, Dwibs, we're doing a bit of a survey here. Were you able to guess who the Winter Soldier was, having not read comics?
The first time you watched this.
Not really.
Really?
I don't think I'm not sure I'd seen First Avenger yet.
Oh. Okay, then, well, okay. If you hadn't seen First Avenger, then, okay. In that case, you're a special outlier there, because, yeah, in that case, you probably wouldn't guess.
Go, little ball, go.
Fooled him with the phone.
Also, Dweebs, what do you think of the effects on the prosthetic armor?
Oh, they look good.
I actually don't know if it's CGI'd or completely practical.
I mean, it's fine. I mean, a prosthetic arm is, especially for a character like Winter Soldier, is something you'd have to CGI.
Mm-hmm.
Well, this has not been your lucky week, has it, Nat?
No.
Also, I love how the soundtrack acts like it's screaming.
It's Henry Jackman screaming for help.
I guess I'll give him this that the Winter Soldier theme is more memorable, but yeah.
Has Cat figured it out yet?
No.
There is a bit of intuition because, again, you saw the eyes and everything, but
Interesting
Shit.
thing. The cinematographer for this movie also worked on a few Neil Blomkamp films.
oh, goody.
Interesting. Wait, that explains a lot, actually. The shaky cam and the random cuts.
Yeah, he did District 9, Elysium, and Chappie, and did this film in between the previous two that I mentioned. And he also did the cinematography for Civil War, Infinity War, and Endgame.
Also, Dweebs, you say Chappie, don't you mean humanoid?
Oh!
Dun, dun, dun. I don't know.
Wait,
who you
hold
are.
on. Wait. I hid myself and repaired myself.
It's a Mega Man X joke, Shiro.
I've got me imagining Captain America whining about when the gonna end.
Why must we keep fighting?
Why can't we all just sit around a campfire and sing Kumbaya?
Not how how the world works.
You need to put the guns away first.
It reminds me of that joke in Killer Bean Forever, where the guy's like, "Oh, sure, we should take away all of her gun." But he pauses, "And not my gun."
Yeah, I mean, it's not like that stopped us earlier. Because, I mean, but it's 2014.
Okay,
People
this is
on
one.
their phones.
This is a bit of a thing I get a bit annoyed by in later MCU things, where Steve will always go blue screen of death whenever he goes up against Bucky. Like, don't get me wrong, I get it. He's his friend and everything, but it does lead to some bits that legit.
Yeah, this is also the payoff of that scene where they found Bucky on the table in the first movie.
On the table.
So that meant you had some.
Remember when they rescued him? He was trapped on a table.
Oh boy.
Oh. Yep, it was Maria Hill.
Hello.
Hey, Robin! From How I Met Your Mother.
I haven't seen that show.
Good show, but a terrible, terrible ending.
Was interesting though, another show that had a terrible getting a Reeves to try and have a ending.
Game of Thrones.
Dexter.
Yeah. Well, Dexter had a lot of later bad seasons.
I guess just to try and redeem.
I guess.
Dude, yeah, so what went wrong with Dexter, I wonder?
I actually don't know.
Well, the guy who showed the last few series went on Iron Fist and Inhumans.
Oh, brilliant.
Oh. Wow.
So,
Iron Fisted Inhumans. God damn.
So yes, in a move that surprised absolutely 5 people, Fury wasn't actually dead. Even though he was shot in the chest.
Point blank. How did he survive that? Was it a magical miracle drug?
It was like the thing that they did in
yeah.
Kingsman: The Golden Circle. We injected something into him.
Yeah, we call it the Feige method.
Oh hey, Bruce Banner developed it, guys. Oh guys, Bruce Banner developed it. That means this is totally a shared universe.
Absolutely.
Again, folks, do not get me wrong. I do still enjoy this movie, but like a lot of Phase 2 movies, it does have its fair share of issues.
Oh.
He survived that.
Shit.
And that's how he survived.
Cryogenically frozen.
Bucky, no. Oh, sorry. Soldier, no. Well, I mean, yeah, sir, you're our leader, and of course we're not going to shoot you.
So, regarding our villains of this movie here and there, we have the Winter Soldier, yes. However,
we also have a guy in a suit. Yes, which is favorite.
Don't get me wrong, Robert Redford is a good villain, but at the end of the day, yeah, he's a guy in a suit. And again, he does have an interesting villain motivation here. Security and quote-unquote safety here and there. It just so happens that Hydra's the one providing it here. I think the issue is like, well, we don't get to see enough of his more nuanced bits as opposed to him just being, mwahaha, business suit guy evil.
Also, Steve recognized Bucky, but the other way around didn't happen, so...
Yeah, remember, guys. Oh, is he implying that Winter Soldier may have had a certain assignment back in the previous century? Although I'm gonna be honest, unlike the eye patch thing, I don't think that was some legit foreshadowing for Civil War. It's just that happened to work out.
Yeah. By the way, have we changed the signage at S.H.I.E.L.D. anymore? I'm surprised he didn't rename Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. like Agents of,
Hydra.
and that's it, because there's no shield. They're the agents of nothing.
To be fair, we could have got a series of Bob Agent of Hydra. Oh boy.
Why does it have to cover those bits of his face? Why not just the whole thing while you're at it?
I don't know.
Because it
it's
looks,
spookier.
I guess.
So,
That's nice. Let's talk about the details of Pierce.
Yeah. That gives you trust issues.
So
yeah.
here's what I don't get. The government has issues with heroes, but the government never had issues with S.H.I.E.L.D. doing this, apparently.
I don't know.
Again, this is one of the issues I have with Civil War here. The government just comes off as hypocrites. And yes, I get it. Maybe that's social commentary, but it feels weird that for all the mutts that the government eggs the heroes on, including egging on Captain America for stopping this evil plot, they never seem to go after S.H.I.E.L.D., who, you know, were the bad guys. Again, Fury does some weird stuff in Phase 2, and not all of it makes sense.
No.
Is he a scroll?
Yeah, that's the thing. The twist of Far From Home reveals when Nick Fury and Maria Zero scrolls, but we don't know for how long they're
Yeah, that's okay. One thing I'm a bit of is that if people complain about something in the MCU, they'll just use the it was a scroll excuse.
Believe it or not, Dwibs, that's what Marvel did in the comics back in the
it has
day.
been used already multiple
I'm guessing it was
times.
just as bad there as it would be here.
Well, it was somewhat
Depends.
understandable here. I mean, it sure explained why the hell She-Hulk and Juggernaut had sex.
It wasn't actually them.
No, it was just a pair of scrolls. For some reason. But yeah, okay. In regards to in regards to Nick Fury being a scroll here, I do wonder.
Okay, I get you tried to set this in the previous movie, but all the handheld cams kind of distracting.
Yeah.
Don't you see? It's to show the human nature of it. I don't get it.
Also, yeah, I totally believe this kind of camera style.
Please get a bit closer to your mic. You're cutting out a bit.
That's the thing. I can't really. I have to be careful how I do it.
Again, remember that, Steve. It's one of my frustrating things. I get that Bucky is his friend, but Steve almost nearly turns a blind eye to every bad thing that Bucky does.
Because he's my friend. Guess worse than Civil War.
Oh,
I guess he just doesn't want to lose yet another person, even if not in the same way. I don't know.
Yes, but needs of the many,
Oh boy.
Oh no, I'm not defending it. I'm just trying to find a reason as to why he's doing it.
Stan, what are you doing? No, Stan,
Okay,
no.
Okay. So a bit of context to this, but the reason Cap changed costumes, it's explained in a deleted scene that, his shield costume could have been tracked, so he changes it here. Here,
Yeah, but
classic.
big problem with that though is a deleted scene, so it doesn't.
Yeah, why wasn't there an extended cut that incorporated it?
I
I
don't
don't
know.
know.
Again, good movie, but a lot of baffling decisions. Oh, but I think we're about to get a community cameo, Shiroi.
Hello?
Hey, Danny! Yes, that
Oh,
is
shit.
that is Danny Pudi there, who plays Abed from Community. He also plays Huey in the new DuckTales cartoon.
Oh, cool.
Surprise, pizza delivery again.
Wait a minute. Why are these guys wearing shield hats? Shield and even.
Well, it turns out, dude, some of S.H.I.E.L.D. are still good guys.
Well, hi, Dreadhell, damn it.
Surprised they didn't do a speed take.
Psst. We know where Captain America is. Let's sneak some guards over there and riddle them with bullets.
And if it didn't work already in V for Vendetta, it's not gonna work here.
Yeah, see, do what these guards are doing.
Whoa!
That's not paranoid at all, Captain.
Believe it or not, but yes, this moment did rock the MCU to its core, so much that it did also affect TV shows connected to S.H.I.E.L.D. Huh.
Where did the sound effect went?
It's drama, Tio. It takes away the sound effects.
Sure.
If that's the case, then how come Nolan's phones are so blown?
Nolan's a maverick.
God.
Only I replied.
About that.
Sorry. Why can't you just shoot? Fuck.
Because he needs them alive, I guess?
Honestly, Joy, you asked for them to be punished in Civil War. We should have died here.
Well, it's funny you mentioned that, Tio. It's funny you mentioned that.
There's actually a number of problems, but anyway.
Oh,
I'm
someone's rebelling.
I'm sorry. I'm sorry, sir. I'm allergic to guns. Great Mexican standoff.
Damn.
Oh. Oh, shit. Well, at least the tech guy tried.
Yes. And he was brave for it.
Oh.
He tried. But yeah, okay, for as much as we have talked about problems with this twist, this is a very pivotal moment here and is something that is, well, pretty, well, I guess I might as well say it. It is one of the biggest retcons, but one that is not inherently bad to happen here and there.
It will also bite the MCU in the ass in the long run, because these
Yeah.
really could have been useful as weapons when you think about it.
And that's the thing, sadly. After this, as far as the movies go, S.H.I.E.L.D. never really gets brought up, which is
Or
weird.
not neither Hydra either.
Well, which is weird, because in Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D., those two were still things. In fact, the point of the later seasons of Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. was to try and, reconstruct S.H.I.E.L.D.
Also, there's the entire opening of Age of Ultron is to fight an Hydra cell.
Yeah, Hydra is still kind of sort of around.
Also, remember, they stole beam particles in Ant-Man. They still haven't used them, but,
I do wonder
probably
though.
in Falcon and the Winter Soldier.
I do wonder if they're still trying to decide what to do with Hydra, but yeah, as far as S.H.I.E.L.D. goes, outside of the Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. series, S.H.I.E.L.D. never really gets brought up after this, which, yeah, it's kind of a shame, because S.H.I.E.L.D. were a cool thing to have around in the MCU, but after this, well, it's gone, which does
The organization are rising. WandaVision is introduced S.W.O.R.D. instead.
I guess. Maybe S.W.O.R.D. will be a replacement for S.H.I.E.L.D., who knows.
We'll see.
But yeah, again, his motivation is that he wants security here, but yeah, of course.
Ooh.
Okay, this one's a bit of an asshole here.
The fact that the S.H.I.E.L.D.
Did they have like biometric things?
Hey, I can dig that. She's still
It
kicking.
turns out it's Scarlett Johansson.
Pulling a Mission Impossible.
So here's the thing. This was sort of foreshadowed in a deleted scene, which got deleted.
Why?
Again, it comes off as literally an asshole because the scene got deleted. Like, why would you delete a scene that would have been good for foreshadowing?
I think, Jova, I think I could guess what happened.
What?
The Russos got too cut happy that they accidentally cut a scene.
Maybe. Okay, that said though, Falcon is pretty cool in this movie. It's not as good as his later costume, but obviously it's a start here and there.
Well, I mean, this used it.
Uh-huh.
A bit basic to start with.
Mm-hmm.
That said though, in terms of, being a more modern take on Falcon, it's actually pretty neat.
Mm-hmm.
I guess it makes sense that he employs the use of guns as well, because,
Yeah. Although he did raise, the thing that he raised for people was that he might have been too similar to War Machine in terms of powers.
Yeah. I think they diversified him more with his later bits in Avengers 2 and Civil War.
Mm-hmm.
And when something goes onto the internet, it stays on the internet.
Of course. Unless we label it fake news.
I mean, we've been fighting for a major city. I think everyone knows already.
Also, Alexander Pierce, I'm still trying to figure out what my character is. Maybe the internet will be able to find it out for me.
Just as soon as I get my own movie.
Yes, and that's bound to happen in Phase 3. Sorta. I mean, honestly, by all intents and purposes, Black Widow should have just been a Phase 3 movie. Unless they're going to show, again, that kind of twist, but that would just be like...
They'll probably plot twist. They pull an Age of Calamity.
What's Agent Calamity's deal?
It proves he doesn't know. Basically,
I won't go to it. I won't go into it.
Whatever.
Well, just tell me so I can understand the reference.
Final Fantasy 14, but it's not really fitting for that waves.
Falcon is approaching the generator. The generator
generator
is
is losing
power.
Is that a reference to something?
The Godzilla PS4 video game.
Oh god, that game was for the PS4.
It was for the PS3, but only PS4 for
Well,
the
the
Western
only-
release.
You see, when you say lines like that, you're bound to jinx. But the only air support that he's got.
Yeah.
Fuck.
Oh. Okay, so apparently one regularly dressed person can blow up a plane just by accidentally falling into or getting thrown into it, a bit of it. Unless that plane was made out of shade.
Huh. Also, look at that, Tio. The officials are finally doing something by holding Alexander Pierce at gunpoint.
About time.
Oh my god, it's yeah, cool.
Oh my god, that guy who turned out to be alive is alive! Maybe the scene was supposed to have been like in a sense where we didn't know he was alive? I don't know. Yeah.
Sure.
Or something goes off in Sokovia. You are a perfect little soldier. Well, when you say it like that, it makes you come off as a goddamn maniac.
Smash his face against the window.
So I guess that's a super duper secret retinal scanner? I mean,
this is the kind of backup you need.
Yes. Although, I kind of find it silly that nobody would have, suspected that maybe, just maybe, Fury has his other eye underneath that patch.
They didn't bother to ask us.
Well, I mean, some people would have the eye removed after, that.
It depends on... I guess Fury just decided to keep it.
I mean, it worked out, so...
I guess he was too afraid of saying that it was that thing that did it.
I don't know. Like, I'm far more forgiving of that.
Fury, your bias does not
Also,
suit you.
Shuri, think about it. You had the delicacy that you got to see that movie relatively not too long after seeing this movie. Imagine people who waited 5 years to figure out the payoff to that line.
Oh, no, I understand. I just like the idea of something like coming off as a dramatic instance when in reality it just was that.
It can work.
I won't say for the sake of the audience because we'll get there eventually, but if you know, you know.
I get what you mean, Shuri, and it can work in a lot of cases, but it can also rub some people the wrong way or make it feel like the filmmakers don't care two hoots.
I understand, yeah.
Also, I'll just say it like this. What was the point of having Nick Fury be all serious about it only to do that? Hey, it's a lot like the climax of the first Captain America movie.
Parallels.
He can't hear you for all that mind control, Steve. Look, by all means, subdue him, take him alive, but don't waste time.
Also, again with the quick cuts, I guess the tradition was still there for this.
Don't.
In response,
Yes.
in response to your earlier question, to your earlier point, Shiroi, about waiting years for a reveal only for it to turn out to be Bingy. I don't like that.
I hated when they did that with Last Jedi.
Well, did we have to wait years to say that?
2 years at the very least.
I guess.
Two. This had 5.
Did they put enough prominence on the eye issue though for it to be?
There's a lot of.
Here they did.
Okay, consider this, Shiroi.
Okay, like here they did, yeah. But I mean, throughout the 5 years. But yeah, go ahead, Jola.
When it comes to this, oh, by the way, Tio, the officials are dead now.
Oh no. Anyway.
Okay, cool. Anyway,
But yeah,
Council of dickheads are dead.
consider this, Shiroi. There was a lot of emphasis put on the fact that Nick Fury did not trust people, and this was part of why he was doing it for the plot of this, but it also was something that dictated Nick Fury's actions throughout the MCU. So
people assumed his eye was a part of that, I'm guessing.
Mhm.
Like,
Well, sure.
okay.
Sure. It's not that they assumed. This movie literally states that. This is the reason why he thinks the way he does. So, when it turns out that the entire character motivation behind that is, well, that, it's kind of paramount. Okay, it's not as bad as, well, no, actually, it is kind of up there with the whole, oh, I'm gonna stop trying to kill you because your mother shares the same name as mine.
Nah, I think that's stupider. Like, honestly.
I mean, that'd be like if it turned out the reason Sephiroth was trying to kill Cloud is because Cloud accidentally spilled milk on his favorite jacket.
Yeah.
Oh, remember, it's because everyone is a mama's boy.
I mean,
Was about to say.
could you imagine how the endgame dialogue would go if that were the case? Cloud, I have finally found you. I'm here to collect my dry cleaning bill. Your life. And then Cloud's like, wait, what are you talking about?
Ow.
Seriously, that jacket was my favourite, damn it.
Don't! Dick
What
move,
are those
Bucky!
bullets?
Joe, is your recording still going?
Yes. Why?
We'll have to rely on yours, I'm afraid.
Okay.
Come on.
Wait,
Oh, for fuck's sake.
who's Charlie? Oh.
Well...
Oh, Charlie Weapons Tech, okay.
You mean fireman ready? Seriously, that's what we're doing.
Pretty much.
Wow, they were gonna kill the president.
Huh.
I'll say, if I recall correctly, Stephen Strange is one of the names labeled here too.
Even someone in Avengers Tower is in danger.
Oh,
my
there
God.
you go!
Cap, you can do it. Boop. I wanted to shoot
The target-
something.
Yeah!
Oh yeah, we can shoot ourselves. Wait a minute.
His coconut gun can make you shoot yourself.
Sir, permission to abandon ship and get the hell out of Dodge?
Denied. We are Hydra. We stay and fight.
Screw that! Hydra ain't paying my bills enough. I'm taking this parachute.
You know when we normally say that if we cut a head off, two more shall take its place.
Well, let's cut off 3. Yeah. Right?
What a waste of money. I told you I'm not a councilwoman. Oh.
Oops. And Robert Redford is dead.
Yeah, like they're totally gonna kill off Black Widow right here and there. Oh, you
sir,
sunk my battleship.
Sir, is there any way we could get our ships to stop firing at each other?
I'm afraid not. This doesn't look good for us.
Nope.
Okay.
It's been an honor.
An honor, sir. We were employed to kill people.
It's been an honor, damn it. Hail Hydra. And yes, that's how Robert Redford meets his end.
Yeah, hail whatever.
Kind of throws out all the nuance of his character when he just ends with Hail Hydra. You sunk my battleship. And yes, he's dead.
Very dead.
Just to let you know for sure.
We're going to put lots of focus on the fact that that wound was right through the chest.
Okay, Steve, knock him out first, then take him into safety.
Maybe you should shoot him again just to make doubly sure that he's dead.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, that's right, this fight scene's still happening.
And Falco needs stuff too.
Nah, you're out of yours.
Oh, God, I jinxed myself. I'm trying to outrun a collapsing building.
Sure.
By the way, you're paying for that helicopter door.
If only.
Oh, there.
Also, Black Widow, you changed out of that suit into your black outfit rather quickly. You let him up before knocking him out.
Gonna need to have a Metal Gear final boss fight.
Yeah. Well, he's kind of not known you for a few decades.
Quite a few decades. Yeah, he's even told you to shut up.
Why did you take off your helmet? Now he can give you a concussion. So he can, I guess, so he can recognize him.
Oh,
Yeah.
It's also he dropped his shield.
It's also symbolism from the beginning.
That's nice and all, but
What that Steve is clumsy.
here's an
dropping
idea.
shields.
Why not knock him out, take him in, and then try to remind him who you are? Like, he is lucky. Lucky that this manages to work on Bucky.
You say that he's Bucky.
He's
I will
Bucky
see
the
myself
Trend.
out.
Yeah.
I'll see myself out as well.
Oh, God. He recognizes him in that moment because... Oh, right, because he said I can do this all day.
Well, a lot of people use that line, so are you saying 1/10 of the population is Captain America?
Yes. Don't you see?
Well, remember, camp is more of a symbol than anything.
Yeah, so in a sense, we are all Captain America dwibs.
Anyone can be Captain America.
Even
Can
if
I
you're
be Captain
British.
Britain instead?
Last I heard, I think Captain Britain's a woman, last I checked.
I think I see what you're referencing.
What am I referencing?
The What If trailer?
Actually, I was referencing the actual comics, but yeah, let's go with that.
And so Captain America died.
What a shame.
Alright,
He was a good man. The rotten way to die.
No, wait, that's
back
right.
to
He
the
had...
lights of life.
Yeah, because Super Soldier Serum. And Bucky just...
Leaves him there.
wanders
Leaves him
off.
there.
Okay, I'll admit, when I first saw the movie, I was frustrated by this ending. Like, I felt maybe Bucky doesn't need to wander off. Maybe he could, literally stick by the guy who stuck by him. I'm sure S.H.I.E.L.D. wouldn't really hold him to it because, brainwash, mind control, and, S.H.I.E.L.D.
Plus, there is no S.H.I.E.L.D. at this point.
Yeah, so... I mean, I get it. It's to sort of do that stuff in Civil War, but honestly, it feels like... Oh, okay, that's the thing, honestly. According to Avengers 2, Steve apparently took a break from looking for Bucky until, Civil War reminded him that Bucky is out there. So, it's weird.
So he spent
don't
a
you
lot
mean-
of this movie, I guess, mourning over a friend and then kind of forgetting he existed for a long time.
Also,
Is that
Sam,
like...
Yeah.
Sam,
Ugh.
don't you mean on your right? Because you're on Captain America's right.
Oh, and look at that. Now Kate's going to join the CIA instead. Stark Industries.
So she's gonna meet Crimson Viper.
And Maria Hill's now at Stark Industries. Evil Hydra Senate guy
Gets
is now
arrested.
Oh, and this guy here.
He'll be back.
Mm-hmm.
Years later, for like a few
2
seconds.
years later. And also,
Testify.
Natasha Romanoff is now at Well, to be fair, that intelligence apparatus was probably going to kill you.
This is my point. So the government never goes after S.H.I.E.L.D., who were literally Hydra, but no, come Civil War, it's like, oh no, it's all the heroes' fault. Well,
Well, I mean, you did say that the Marvel citizens.
yeah, but again,
Again, it's like I said though, there are tropes in comics that just don't carry over well to film.
yeah. Let alone trying to carry over a whole comic book event that people really do not like, but we'll get to that when we get to Civil War.
And so Nick Fury
Hangs the Band-Aid.
Okay, so this is another thing. So Nick Fury's
Does
going
he have
to...
it back on in the next movie he's in?
Yes.
So what was the point of that then?
I don't know. That's the thing about this ending in general. They have this thing about, Nick Fury's going into hiding, yet I think the next time we see him, he's pretty much back in the public anyway, so... Tio, you got anything?
What should I have?
I don't know. Any reason why they did it this way?
I don't know. I really don't know.
Again, folks, do not take this to mean that I don't like this movie, but...
Rocky start.
Yeah. Yeah, of course, faking your death, even though, again...
Also on the tombstone is the beginning of a quote used in Pulp Fiction. That's cute.
That is cute, yeah. It's weird, though. So he's faking his death, yet later he'll be pretty much back and well-known alive. And by the time of Far From Home, well, okay, I know he's a Skrull by that point, but all the same, kind of makes you wonder why he didn't just do the Skrull thing in the get-go, unless this is also him doing the Skrull thing from the get-go and got it.
Because we haven't introduced the Skrulls yet.
Again, maybe we should have planned that stuff out better. Nah, I'm not going with him because I'm actually going to show up in a movie sooner or later. Actually, but yeah, did Nick Fury show up in any movies between this and Infinity War now that I think about it?
I think he shows up in Age of Ultron in some fashion.
Oh yeah, but he's back to wearing the eye patch in that if I recall correctly. I don't really remember Age of Ultron that much. Dwibs?
I don't watch Age of Ultron that much for obvious reasons.
Also, guys, Black Widow's trying to ship Cap with Sharon Carter, and yeah, the movie pretty much admits that it was never going to work out between Cap and Black Widow. Why did we even bother?
Again, femme fatale vibe.
Like, it gets to a point where it's more annoying than anything, though. Also, we're totally going to now spend the rest of our time searching for Bucky, and we won't forget about doing that, I'm sure. Right, Cap?
When we start? In 2016. I want to take 2015 off and go back to the Avengers.
Stick around for the post-credit scenes.
Wow, what a movie.
I also like these credits.
Yeah.
Wait, hang on, Cap. Why are you waiting? Why are you waiting 2 years? Why not go search for him now?
Because I need to hook up with my old Avenger pals first and chill with them.
You have really warped priorities, Cap.
Again, especially considering the latter half of this movie.
To be fair, Bucky beat my head in pretty badly, so that may be the reason for it.
What can't you remember?
But yeah, sure, you pretty much summed up a lot of my issues with this movie. For as great as the action, when the camera doesn't feel like it's being handled by someone who broke their wrists, is, the story does pull a lot of cop-outs, sadly. I'll go more into it with my final thoughts, but actually, does anyone want to bring up their final thoughts before the...
I like to go first.
I don't think
Untitled Time.
it's... Oh, right, sure.
Not much to say. It has the problems that we mentioned, but with the fact, considering the fact that I watched it years after its release, more to recover it, I think it's fine on its own. It has those questionable moments that make it feel more conclusive, and I do believe the twist of Hydra, infiltrating S.H.I.E.L.D. from the inside should have been reserved for at least 2 or 3 movies later after this. To give a bit more punch to the impact. But as it is, it's fine for me. Not much more to say. Alright, I think it's now one of the post-credit scenes. Yeah, here we go.
Oh, boy.
Baron von Strucker.
Hey, Baron. I'm looking forward to facing...
He's played by Thomas Kretschmann, aka Fagerline from Downfall.
Yes, Dwibs, that's what Fagerline was doing.
Dwibs, it's funny you mentioned that. Thomas Kretschmann, I believe, was also in the Resident Evil Apocalypse movie as well.
Also, they have Loki's scepter.
Yes, you've only scratched the surface, so that means we have a lot to do with you, I'm sure. Isn't that right, Shiroi?
Yep.
I also love how these post-credit scenes contradicted immediately in the next movie.
Okay.
Because they say, "Oh no, we will never find us," and they immediately find them.
People need to keep an eye on these movies.
Oh, I wonder who these two are.
You know, I see a good future for one of them.
So
Also, didn't these two used to be, husband and wife in the Godzilla movie?
yes, they were.
This came out the same year. This film came out the same year that film did.
Ooh, ominous. But okay.
Spyro? Oh, no, wait, never mind.
But,
They will have
anyway.
sound effect.
So honest question. We know what's going to happen, but do you think that's a result of them not planning it out well, or the worse alternative, that's what they actually did have planned from the get-go, and it's just disappointing?
Shrugs.
But,
Anyway,
yeah.
I'm pretty much done. I'm mostly fine with this.
Don't forget to stick around for the other after-credits scene.
Obviously.
Can I go next?
Sure.
Okay, Chris Evans is always great as Captain America. All the other cast members are fine, although at times Scarlett Johansson probably could have done with another take or two.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, the action is good when it's not, again, like Jova said, when the cameraman wasn't drunk, and when the Russos and the editors didn't play a drinking game during the editing process. I mean, the plot is easy enough to follow, despite how complicated it appears to be. Good organization turns out was evil all along, or had evil growing from within, so take it down.
Mm-hmm.
Also a whole bunch of other stuff. And we had a scene that was, at least somewhat, it was at least, okay, I wouldn't say quite powerful, but, very tense and intriguing as to who exactly he didn't trust because of how he lost his eye.
Oh boy.
That kind of got fucked over 5 years later, but that's neither here nor there. Actually, it's there, but we'll get to that.
Over there.
So yeah, overall, it's a very good movie. I mean, in spite of all the complaining, I mean, yeah, I know, I'm not a huge fan of like reviews that are like mostly negative, but at the end of the day, they were saying, I like this thing actually. But I mean, there is a lot to admire, and I mean, it's like I get the feeling the Russos are just getting the hang of not doing sitcoms.
Mm-hmm.
And they would get better in the Avengers movies, and half of Civil War.
But of course.
Wow, I mean that film really is a tale of two halves, not just from the sides and the argument, but the actual movie quality.
Yeah.
I'm not quite sure that was intentional, but
It's like I said from the get-go. Even if they did make it better, maybe trying to adapt that comic book line of all things wasn't a good idea.
I mean, props to trying. But anyway,
Yeah.
that's my thoughts on Winter Soldier.
Sure.
I don't really I don't dislike it. It's just kind of there. Like, my big problem with it is that the choices made are weird.
Yeah.
The continuity choices that we've discussed throughout this. Again, somebody really needs to keep a closer eye on everything that's going on, which I think they are better at doing now, kind of, at least going forward. But yeah, at this point, things were just strange.
Definitely a lot of growing pains with Phase 2.
Mm-hmm. I mean, you could argue that they were still trying to find their footing with everything because, the MCU didn't start out as the MCU, but I think by Phase 2 they should have at least had some general idea of how to handle it. I don't know, but again, it did get better, and this is by no means the worst movie, but it's compared to First Avenger, this is quite a downgrade. I
Yeah.
have to say, but again, I don't hate it. It's not awful or anything. I mean, the camera work is, well, I wouldn't say the camera work, the editing is pretty awful, but
Yeah.
yeah, I couldn't look at it after a while. It was getting ridiculous, and yeah, it did calm down a bit, but we had like over half a movie of this, so it's
Yeah,
not it's really a big positive.
I can imagine it now. The Russos once said, "What's a tripod?"
Well,
Honestly,
sir.
I get that impression with a lot of movies that directors haven't really heard of tripods, but
All right, here we go.
but that's it for my final thoughts anyway.
All right, let's see the after
Alright, so
credits
what's
scene.
here then?
Mhm.
No, it's
Oh my God, Cap! Bucky's literally in the museum. Look there for him.
yeah, he likes looking at himself.
Who doesn't?
What a fellow. Captain America will return in Avengers Age of Disappointment Ultron.
I forget. Was this the first
I
time
remember
we ever...
liking Ultron, but we'll see how it goes.
Was this the first time that we ever figured out the subtitle of the second Avengers movie to you?
I don't remember. Jova. I only saw Age of Ultron mostly because I had a literal free afternoon from the work that I was doing at the time, and I was like, well, why not? But to be fair, I really like the movie, so I don't think I was disappointed from that, and it is what brought me back into the MCU.
You know what? Look, I may not be the biggest fan of Age of Ultron, but I won't deny that it does definitely have its qualities.
We can discuss that for later, Joe. In the meantime, go ahead.
Like I said, good movie, but it has a lot of egregious flaws here. It doesn't aggravate me to the level of, say, Iron Man 3, but unfortunately this movie has both hindsight, foresight, and present tense going against it in a lot of cases. In hindsight, it really did not set up ideas all that well. In foresight, it really did pull off a lot of ideas way too early, as Tio mentioned here and there. Especially something as big as, well, S.H.I.E.L.D. pretty much collapsing within itself, turning out to be Hydra. Again, that probably should have been saved for something like the Avengers 2, essentially. Heck, maybe even have Ultron uncovered, or have Ultron take charge of Hydra, seeing as how, now that I think about it, as soon as that thing happens in Avengers 2, Hydra kind of just disappears from the MCU after that. Goddamn. But, yeah, it is kind of a shame about the wasted ideas here. Again, the biggest problem being that the whole nuance of this movie is based off of, should we act preemptive in safety, or should we give the people true freedom? The problem is like, well, it's obvious which side we're gonna go with because, well, the whole preemptive one is the Nazis. So, yeah, let's not. Okay?
Again, kind of one-sided.
Yeah, pretty one-sided. Which is, again, that's the biggest shame about this movie. It does talk a big game, but at the end of the day, it's relatively black and white. And I wouldn't complain, but this movie clearly wanted to be taken seriously as a more nuanced one. And it does have a lot of good ideas to do that, it's just that a lot of them fall flat. Now, that is not to say that this is a bad movie. It still does have relatively good action, and I do feel the friendship that Steve is trying to rekindle with Bucky. Even though it does kind of annoy me that Cap literally lets Bucky get way too many hits on him when, again, he could have just knocked Bucky out and taken him in and then convinced him. What's even worse is, like, well, they talk about how, they're going to spend the rest of their lives now chasing after Bucky, even though in Avengers 2 we see that they kind of didn't. I guess they took a break from that. It is jarring, and again, it has a lot of the symptoms of Phase 2. Stuff not being connected the best, or stuff being outright forgotten in Phase 2. Now, let me say this right now. It is still a major step up from For the Dark World and Iron Man 3 here. But I can't deny it still had a lot of the issues that the MCU had. Villain-wise, Winter Soldier is fine enough, but the main bad guy, Alexander Pierce, he's a villain with an interesting idea here, and you could argue that he is somewhat relatable here. Problem is that the more relatable stuff gets buried underneath all the whole Nazism and, well, the fact that it doesn't get the most screen time here. Again, most we see of him is that of an evil guy in a suit, essentially. His dying words are literally Hail Hydra, even though his motivation was supposed to be about safety and whatnot. Like, the whole Hail Hydra thing doesn't really have that much payoff, considering knowing what's going to happen with Hydra. Now, okay, if you watched Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D.
Actually, what isn't going to happen?
I guess if you watched Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D., yes, there were more Hydra shenanigans going on in the background, but that's Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. Something that the MCU sadly does not pay mind to. Seriously, Coulson should have just revealed that he was alive to the Avengers. Like, I think that they've got enough motivation at this point. But alas, too little, too late. Again, it's a good movie, but, well, it's still a step down from Captain America First Avenger for big issues here and there. And like a lot of Phase 2, while I do like the movie, I don't find myself coming back to it as much as I do Captain America First Avenger. But at the end of the day, it's okay. It's fine. It's not bad.
Alright,
So,
see you next time for Guardians of the Galaxy to see a complete new team. Yeah.
Now for someone
Alright, see ya.
completely
See ya.
different.